Hey guys, it's me again, Tracy from Red Wind Studio. We're located here in Cambridge, the Preston section on King Street. Not that we're open currently, but due to the pandemic. But I need to get some stuff done, so I'm here and I'm working on a personal piece. So yeah, this is the next step, and I've decided I've always had this sort of image in my head when I wanted to redo this furniture to go and lighten it up, and as I'm working on it, it just keeps getting darker and darker, which is not what I initially wanted. So my next step to bring it down to the nice light color that I want it, and to still have the grain showing through. There's been a few pieces that I've done previously now. All of them had real wood grain showing through them, and I used a dove glaze over top of the wood with some coconut mixed into it. Now, because the base of this is has some coconut, and it has that sort of coconut feel to it, and there's yeah, it sort of has that feel, I've decided that I'm going to put a light glaze over top of it to try and get that light washed, stained, I can't even describe it, just the mid-century modern table, the round one that I did, the top of that I really like. There was a little small piece, very small, that I did a wash over top of, and I really liked it. It was a little bit darker than the mid-century modern round table, and then there was that beautiful dresser, the mid-century modern dresser that I did with the river run front, which is a sort of a watery blue color, and then the box of it was a wash of dove and I can't think today, coconut. So I thought that's what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm figuring that the next step here is to go with the dove glaze over top of this. So basically all I did was I had a little container of some polyurethane already saved from another project that I was doing, and I added a little bit of dove to it, which is, here's the lid. It almost looks white, but it has a grayish undertone to it. So I've added that into it, and I've watered it down a bit so that it's going to be a little bit more translucent. So I've got my handy dandy foam brush again, and I've washed it out, and I'm just drying it off a little bit so it's damp, it's not sopping wet, and we're going to give this a whirl and see what happens. And I'm only sticking with one color because I only have a little bit mixed up, and I have many more pieces to do. So if this works and I like it, I can always recreate this easily enough. It's not a custom color or mix or anything. So I'm getting it in there, but I don't want to leave puddles. And I think the part of the problem I struggle with when I'm doing my own stuff is I have an image in my head and when I can't recreate that, I continue to try and recreate it, even though it is impossible. My initial intention with this was to strip it, and because once I started stripping it, this part started to lift at the corners a bit. The stripper that I use is not super strong. It works really, really well. I really, really like it. I've never had issues with it lifting veneer before. But stuff that's made now and stuff that was made 80 years ago is very different in its construction. And although it looked like there is fiberboard underneath this, I'm still not entirely convinced of that. So I wanted it has a nice wood grain, and that's what I really, really wanted, was just to sort of go natural with it and paint the legs and the skirt out on it and go with the natural wood top. So that's sort of what I'm struggling with here, is trying to get that look. And I'm sure if I was an amazing artist and wanted to spend hours upon hours upon hours working on it, I might be able to achieve that, but this isn't fabulous, amazing furniture. So to put that many hours into one piece of furniture when I have 4 other pieces and 2 of them quite large, just doesn't make sense to me. So if this doesn't work and I'm not feeling it, I think it looks great. I'm just not feeling it for my place. I may try stripping it again. I haven't decided yet. But this is fun, and I'm enjoying playing because that's what I like to do. But we'll see what happens. I might give it a sand once this is dry and then reapply it again and build it up and see what kind of look I'm going to get out of this. This I'm liking better than it was before, but it needs to dry because I need to be playing with it, and I can't play with it when it's wet. And unfortunately, I have to keep coming back on here so that you guys can see this whole process. And maybe you guys will want to tackle something like this yourself one day. It is lots of fun, and I love experimenting and trying new things. I got a little bit of puddling happening in here. Really, really lightly drag that along. Oops. You have to be especially careful with glaze if it hasn't completely dried and you start touching it with a wet brush. You'll pull it up and then you wind it with blank spots. So you have to sort of be careful with it in that respect. So I'm going to let this dry up. Again, I know we're always waiting for paint to dry. Wait for this to dry up, and then we'll come back on. I'll sand it a little bit, play with it, maybe put some more glaze on it, and we'll see how it looks at that point. And I would love to hear you guys, your opinions of what you think of this. Let me hold it up. And of this whole process. So it's wet, so we're getting a bit of a glare off of that. There we go, that's a little bit better. So let me know what you think. If you're liking the look of this, if this is something that you would like to try and tackle yourself. And I still need to do the skirt on this. I need to get the dark glaze on it as well. So we'll see probably in about 45 minutes to an hour, I would say, so it's not tacky anymore. And I will be back on the sandpaper and more glaze, and yeah, we'll just keep playing with this until either I go, I'm done, and we strip it and we try to get to some real wood again, or I love it and then I have to recreate this 3 times more on the other pieces of furniture that I have at home. So like I said, stick around, tune back in about 45 minutes to an hour, check in, and I'll be going live again to do the next step on this. Thanks, guys.